TV's only local and live news at this hour continues on the Fox Eyewitness News at 7. It's about time.
Residents voice concerns after a rash of crime on Tip Hill.
Also this morning, Governor George Pataki visits the Mohawk Valley. He says he is prepared to fight to keep Rome Labs open.
A residential boom in downtown Syracuse. Apartment complexes are in the works.
And a pleasant good morning to you, and thanks very much for joining us on the Fox Eyewitness News at 7. I'm Keith Copeland.
And I'm Liz Ayers. Your time is 7:29. We're going to have details on those stories coming up in just a moment. But first, we go to Joe Bartosik with your first look at your very mild Fox forecast.
That's right, Liz and Keith. Good Thursday morning to you. Definitely put away the ice scrapers for today, but keep them on standby. You might need them again tomorrow. Today, we've got spring-like conditions across the region, already off to a very mild start at 7:30 this morning. 48 degrees with a south-southeast wind at 15 miles an hour. That will continue to get a little stronger as the day progresses. Humidity levels are on the moderate side, a side that some dense fog is occurring in some of those higher elevations south and east of town as well. Temperatures, again, off to a very mild start, 50 degrees. 60 degrees for 12 noon. Could be a few peak or two of sunshine across the region, and then temperatures still mild this evening, but rainfall will begin to develop from west to east across the region as a strong cold front begins to work on into the area. Temperatures will fall dramatically behind that cold frontal passage very late tonight, and rain will change over to snow. We could deal with a light accumulation of snow by this time tomorrow, and some bitterly cold air. At least true winter weather is in store for the area as we head into the weekend. Full details on that, my complete forecast in a few more minutes. Liz?
All right, thank you so much, Joe. Topping our news today, a shooting in a house on Lowell Avenue caused a wave of panic in the Tipperary Hill area. Tip Hill is normally an area free of trouble. Last night, residents of the community met with law enforcement officials to discuss the crime. Some residents asked why the response took so long. Police say this has to do with how 911 prioritizes phone calls and that priority ones are life and death emergencies. Both the shooting on Lowell Avenue and a robbery earlier this year have been solved. However, police will still increase patrols in the area. Some residents say the crime is still worrisome.
The concern is, did this guy know where he was going? Was he in the right apartment? Was he in the right house? I mean, he could be in my house.
Right. No, he knew where he was going, and he knew who he was looking for.
That's scary.
Right.
That's scary.
Right.
Some residents asked if crime was up in their neighborhood. Police say this isn't the case and that crime is actually down throughout the city of Syracuse.
Governor George Pataki was in Rome yesterday taking a tour of Rome Labs. The governor says he is ready to try to save Rome Labs from becoming a casualty of Pentagon spending cuts. Next week, the governor will head to Washington for meetings with high-level officials at the Pentagon. The state has hired a top lobbying firm to spread good PR about Rome Labs to the people who have a big say in the final decision. The effort is expected to have one clear message.
And we think since that time, Rome Lab has expanded, the state's commitment has expanded. The role of Rome Lab since September 11th certainly is more critical. It has tremendous partners, not just here locally, but in the university system throughout this state.
About 1,500 people currently work at Rome Labs. Its estimated value to the Utica-Rome area is somewhere in the neighborhood of $212 million every year.
There is a residential development boom in downtown Syracuse. 2 big apartment complexes are planned to be built downtown, and several smaller buildings are on the drawing board. Development is hot right now because demand is high and interest rates are low. Developers are jumping on the opportunity to build. They say people want to live downtown. The more people there are, the more business, and it all starts with housing.
They like the environment that was built up first around Armory Square and then Hanover Square, and they like the cultural attractions. Those are the things that draw them.
Both the Amos Building project and the project on Willow Street are scheduled to be ready for tenants this spring.
Recovery continues for a suspect in a botched burglary attempt yesterday. Police in DeWitt shot the man after he drove his car towards them. Police say at about 11 o'clock Tuesday night, 43-year-old Eugene Kimbrough broke into the Salvation Army's administrative offices on Twin Oaks Drive in DeWitt. Police caught him running out of the building carrying an armful of laptop computers. When police tried to stop Kimbrough, he ran to his stolen vehicle and then tried to run the officers over. Police were forced to shoot at the suspect. They hit him twice, once in the the leg, once in the hand. Kimbrough's expected to be okay. All of the stolen items were recovered, and there was only minor damage done inside the building. National news this morning, and working for a third night under bright floodlights, crews continue to dig through the mud in California.
Early this morning, a county official reports all those listed missing have been accounted for. But as a precaution, the search through dirt and rubble will remain a rescue operation for a little while longer. Rescuers borrowed ground-penetrating radar to detect pockets under the debris. Heavy equipment is slowly making its way inward, clearing edges of the mound so new areas can be searched. Wednesday, crews pulled out the bodies of a missing mother and her three daughters. La Conchita residents heard the names of the dead at an emotional town meeting. But when the sheriff's deputy read names of the missing, some people on the list were in the room. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger toured the devastation and pledged to make the area safe. More to come on Fox Eyewitness Morning News.
But news time right now is 7:35, and that means time to update our traffic. And for that, we head over to Kathy Denman. Morning, Kathy.
Roads are a little wet as you head out this morning, not causing too much of a problem, but you want to keep that in mind. No big delays as you head into downtown Syracuse. Pete Stoyanovsky's on the road.
Just finished my run on West Seneca Turnpike as I'm getting on to 173, headed westbound. Traffic moving well in this section. Steady flow of traffic coming from OCC, heading down the hill towards Broad Road, but no major delays to tell you about. All lanes moving right up to speed in this section of Onondaga Hill.
8:30 this morning, work crews are scheduled on the Thompson Road off-ramp from 690 west, going to close the left lane for several hours. Plan for that. I'm Total Traffic Network's Kathy Denman with your morning traffic update.
Thank you, Kathy. Right now, here is your Fox Fastcast. According to meteorologist Joe Bartosik, mild temperatures today, 50 by this morning, and then mid-60s by this afternoon, 50s tonight, and then temperatures take a nosedive. We'll check Joe's full forecast coming up after the break.
Tonight on Fox 68, the OC at 8, followed by North Shore at 9.
And of course, stick around for the Fox 68 Eyewitness News at 10.
Very warm conditions across central New York on this Thursday. There are some areas of some dense fog in the hills south and east of town. Again, just allow a little extra travel time if you're heading down there or if you're from there and you're heading northbound on into the city. But the big story today will be the record warmth we anticipate not only through central New York, but throughout much of the northeast and mid-Atlantic region as well, as daytime highs will be into the low 60s, possibly mid-60s here in Syracuse. Take a look at all this wedge of warmer air from Toronto, Buffalo on into Pittsburgh, down to Lexington, Kentucky, on into Roanoke, Virginia. Highs in the 60s there. Low 70s likely from Raleigh-Durham all the way up to Norfolk, Virginia. But take a look at this. Colder air, a big contrast in temperatures as that colder air continues to drop down out of the southern plains of Canada on into the northern tier of states of the United States of America. Looking at the satellite radar view, we're looking at lots of clouds across the northeast, the mid-Atlantic region. Again, where that temperature collides with the colder temperatures collide with the warmer air, we have a band of some moderate to heavy rainfall. That's the form of a frontal boundary that will continue to move its way across the Great Lakes region on in through the Ohio Valley, where they don't need the rainfall because of all the flooding they've seen there lately. This front will arrive into central New York during the early evening hours. Rain will pick up in intensity as we see the arrival of that frontal boundary, and then as the frontal boundary moves off to the east, colder air pouring in behind it will change any leftover rain over to some light snow. We could deal with a light accumulation by this time tomorrow morning, and as the colder air continues to build in, we'll look for a few areas of some lake effect snow to get going along the east and southeast end of Lake Ontario. So some dramatic changes in store over the next 24 to 36 hours. The details of my Foxcast for tonight. Windy with warm conditions, temperatures near record territory. Record is 64. We'll be pretty close to that throughout the day today. A few minor showers throughout the day, but again, rainfall will pick up a little bit in intensity as we head into the first part of the overnight hours. And then after midnight, rain will begin to change to snow as temperatures drop sharply into the lower 30s thanks to a wind out of the west at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Heading into the day tomorrow, temperatures will start off again at 33 degrees, but continue to drop down into the 20s as the colder air deepens. Look for a continuation of some lake effect snows. Temperatures drop down into the upper teens Friday night, rebound only to near 20 degrees on Saturday with a few more snowflakes, and then bitterly cold readings Saturday night on into Sunday. Temperatures into the single digits for overnight lows, rising up into the lower 20s for Sunday and Monday. That's good news for skiers. We'll be able to make a good bit of snow come this weekend. Keith and Liz?
All righty, thank you, Joe.
Apple Computer is trying to convert PC users with a new, less expensive Mac.
Well, the new machine was unveiled at the annual Mac World Conference in San Francisco this week, and Trish Lamont has details in today's Web Watch.
Apple CEO Steve Jobs introduced 2 new products at the conference and said the goal is to bring even more people into the digital revolution.
This is how tiny it is.
The new Mac Mini computer might not be as fancy as the rest of the Apple family, but it's definitely a lot more affordable.
PC prices are rock bottom right now, and the prevailing thought is that Apple's too expensive to own. Well, the Mac Mini is going to change all that.
The Mini starts at $500 for a 40-gigabyte hard drive, a CD burner, and DVD player built in. But what you see is what you get with the Mini. It doesn't come with a monitor, a keyboard, or a mouse. Chris Cooley with Applied Technical Systems in Syracuse thinks it will appeal most to current PC users.
We talk to a lot of people who use PCs now. They're not very happy. They don't like the crashing, they don't like the viruses, but they've got their money invested in monitors and other accoutrements.
Apple is also expanding on the popularity of its iPod digital music players.
And so today we are introducing the Ipod Shuffle, and this is what it looks like.
The Shuffle's smaller than a pack of gum, and it's made to wear around your neck. There are 2 options. The $99 model will hold 120 songs, and for $150 you can store 240 songs.
It'll either play your music selections in order, or it'll randomly shuffle them, which is kind of the neat thing, because Apple thinks, how fun would it be to just change it all up, make it completely random.
The new Mac Mini computers will go on sale January 22nd. Trish Lamont, Fox 68 Eyewitness News.
All righty, thank you very much for that, Trish.
Let's see who's celebrating a birthday today, shall we? Taylor Bessig is celebrating her birthday, and she turns 10 years old today. She loves school. She loves to read and go shopping. So do I. I shop till I drop. Taylor, her grandmother, Doreen Martin, wishes her a very happy birthday, and Doreen is someone we know and like very much.
Very true. Happy birthday from Fox 68. Stick around. We'll recap our top stories and check out Joe's forecast up next. 7:46 on this Thursday morning. Right now, let's check top stories making news on the Fox Eyewitness News at 7. A shooting in a home on Lowell Avenue in Syracuse causes some panic in the Tip Hill area. Tip Hill is normally an area free of trouble. Last night, residents of the community meeting with law enforcement officials to discuss the crime. Both the shooting on Lowell and a robbery earlier this year have been solved. However, police say they will still increase patrols in the area.
Governor Pataki was in Rome yesterday taking a tour of Rome Labs. Pataki says he's ready to try and save the Rome Labs from becoming a casualty of Pentagon spending cuts. Next week, he will head to Washington for meetings with high-level people at the Pentagon. The state has hired Aiken Gump, a top lobbying firm, to spread good PR about the labs to people who have a big say in the decision.
And there is a residential development boom going on in downtown Syracuse. 2 big apartment complexes are planned right now to be built in downtown, and several smaller buildings are on the drawing board. Development is hot right now because demand is high and interest rates are low. Developers are jumping on the opportunity to build, too. They say people want to live downtown, and the more people who live there, the more businesses that will open up, and it all starts with housing.
And boy, we have mild conditions in downtown Syracuse. Temperatures already into the middle and upper 40s across the region. We do have some areas of fog out there, so if you're traveling south into the hills and the higher elevations, again, take it a little slow and easy out across the region there as well. As we take a look at the satellite radar view, we have lots of clouds, again, still across the area, although a peek or two of sunshine will occur during the late morning on into the afternoon hours. Again, we've already seen temperatures near 50 degrees already in downtown Syracuse. A band of some moderate to heavy rainfall approaching from the west right now through the thumb of Michigan on into Indianapolis, moving out of Chicago right now and across the middle Mississippi River Valley. This is in association with a cold front. Behind it, bitterly cold Arctic air diving south out of Canada. You get the air masses colliding, the cold versus the warm, and that's where you have the potential for that moderate to heavy rainfall. And this is not good news as it works on into the Ohio Valley, where it will continue to aggravate the current flooding situation that continues in that part of the country. But southerly winds ahead of this front will help to pump up that milder air. Temperatures near record territory today into the lower and middle 60s, but the front will begin to arrive into the central New York area during the early evening hours. Rainfall will begin to intensify, become a little bit heavier and steadier as we approach the midnight hours. The front blasts on through here. Temperatures will drop dramatically out of the 50s through the 40s quickly on into the 30s. Rain will change over to snow, and by this time tomorrow morning, it is possible that we could have a light accumulation of the white stuff on the ground once again. And don't put away the scarves, the mittens, and the gloves just yet. You're going to need them not only for tomorrow, but throughout much of the weekend as that Arctic air continues to build into central New York. Here's a look at your forecast then for today. Record warmth on tap for the region, low to mid 60s. Windy conditions as well as winds pick up out of the south at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Just a few scattered showers throughout the day today, but that rainfall will begin to increase a little bit as we head into the evening hours and then begin to change over to snow as that cold front blasts on through here. You'll notice it because winds will change direction out of the west, 15 to 30 miles an hour, and temperatures will begin to fall rather dramatically. And we'll continue to see that colder air build on into the region as we head into the next several days. Temperatures dropping down once again into the 20s on Friday with areas of lake effect snow. A few snow showers for Saturday. Highs only 20 degrees. And then take a look at these overnight lows. Back down into the single digits we go. That's great news for the ski resorts to be able to crank out the snow guns and start making up the snow that we lost with the mild readings from today. But again, get ready for winter. It's back. Liz, Keith.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much. We have lots more to come on Fox Eyewitness News at 7.
But right now, as we head to the break, let's check out last night's winning lottery numbers.
The news is sponsored by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. Dodge.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Paul Pasqualoni was fired as Syracuse's football coach. His former office now occupied by Greg Robinson. But Coach P's new office could come with a lot more sun than Robinson's. One of the rumors floating around is that Pasqualoni has talked with new Miami Dolphins head coach Nick Saban about becoming the Dolphins' new linebackers coach. Pasqualoni is a former linebacker back in his playing days at Penn State. When he first came to Syracuse in '87, he was the linebackers coach. If that's where he ends up in Miami, he'd be reunited with a lot of former Orange stars, including linebacker Moreland Greenwood. How about some basketball from last night? Ladies style, Providence and Syracuse, and what a game for freshman Jessica Richter. She scored a career-high 17 in their last game against Notre Dame. Last night against Providence, she scored 18. That's a new career high. Chinning Nwagbo chipped in with 15 points. Syracuse won 72-51 over Providence. High school basketball, CBA and FM. CBA playing without Greg Paulus, the superstar. He's down in Texas getting ready for the All-American high school football game. So Matt Kinnon led the way for CBA. There he is through traffic and tied the game in 8, but the tie did not last long. Zach Aga, soft touch on the baseline for Zach right there. Hornets up by 2. FM also got 15 points from Tom Whopper. Strong to the hoop. There he goes. Hornets won the game 49-31 over the Brothers. And finally, the Crunch played a game in Columbus, Ohio, while the Blue Jackets are on the beach and golfing. So the Crunch went there, the minor league team, and beat Cleveland 1-0. The same two teams will play Friday and Saturday. Those games, though, will be played at the War Memorial here in Syracuse. That'll do it in sports. I'm Kevin Marr, that's Fox Sports.
Hi, I'm Melinda Clark here on the set of the OC with your weekly dose of OCD, Orange County Dish. Now, I don't know about you, but I was totally shocked when Marissa's dad, Jimmy, took off and moved to Hawaii last week. After Marissa begged him not to? Loser. This lovely turn of events left my character Julie to tend to an alcoholic daughter and a rousing game of Find the Empty Flask. But this week, Newport's all a Twitter as Kirsten and Sandy Cohen celebrate an unbelievable 20th anniversary. Aren't they the best couple, like, ever? Now, as for the kids, it seems our little Seth is climbing out windows to rendezvous with his shady new girlfriend, Alex. That should go well. And poor Summer will meet Zach's family for the first time. Good thing she's pretty. As for Marissa and the yard guy, oh my God. Let's just say that for Julie Cooper, when it comes to making her daughter miserable, she goes the extra mile. Well, that's all the dirt I can let you in on. See you next Thursday.
And that is going to do it for us on this Thursday morning.
That's right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Tune in tonight for Fox 68 Eyewitness News at 10. And, of course, we'll be back right here tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great day. Enjoy that.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit would easily become the laughingstock of the judicial world if it were not for the fact that its rulings affect so many people and institutions. Rulings by the Ninth apply to the 9 westernmost states. In the last several years, the Ninth has led other courts in the number of decisions overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. In the most recent session, the nation's highest court ruled on 80 cases. 25 of those were from the Ninth. The remaining 55 cases came from the other 12 circuits, including the federal and D.C. circuits, and state Supreme Courts. The Ninth gets more than its fair share of high court scrutiny. 19 of the 25 cases from the Ninth were overturned, 12 of them unanimously. Think of it. Decisions by the Ninth Court of Appeals were so flawed that all of the justices on the Supreme Court, conservatives and liberals alike, voted unanimously 12 times to overturn them. Just a few years ago, from 96 to 97, the Supreme Court reversed 27 of the 28 cases it considered from the Ninth. The problem with the Ninth is that its judges, instead of following the Constitution and applying judicial precedent, have been intent on legislating from the bench. That is, making up their own laws. The Ninth is the largest of the appellate courts, representing about 20% of the nation's population, twice that of the other courts. Federal judges are appointed for life. So one way to rein in this rogue court is to split it into 2 smaller and more manageable courts, thereby evening its population representation and restricting its senseless and sometimes harmful decisions to smaller regions. Of course, appointing competent judges as vacancies occur would help mitigate the damage to the people living under the shadow of the Ninth. 2 other circuits also distinguished themselves last year, and not in a good way. 6 of the 8 decisions from the Sixth Circuit were overturned, 4 unanimously, and all 4 decisions from the 11th reviewed by the Supreme Court last session were overturned by all 9 justices. This is why judicial appointments are so important. And that's the point. I'm Mark Hyman. Log on to newscentral.tv and tell me what...
Bibbins Sales and Service has been your local Polaris dealer since 1969.